What's up and good afternoon, guys. Welcome back to another video. I don't know how long this video is going to be. It might be very short, but I wanted to show you guys something that I just bought. Kind of excited about it. One of the parts to this puzzle though is right here. It's a little 3D printed battery adapter. We'll get into that in a second. Just to give you guys an update on the F250. Well, first of all, I had to give it its first fill up of DEF fluid. Ah, man. So lame. We put 10 gallons in it, says it's at 82%. But aside from that, I have been loving the truck. I love the space. I love how much wider this thing is compared to the Bronco. You just got way more seat space. Look at that. We got some of Mama Rhino's homemade brownies in there. Pretty excited about that. But let's go show you guys what we got in the bed of the truck, because this is something I'm extremely excited about. It's kind of long overdue. We'll open the tailgate here. Yes, it is from Vevor. Don't shoot me. No, I'm not sponsored by Vevor. I think they've actually reached out before. And, well, I'm just not good at following up with stuff. So I end up paying for things out of pocket when I could probably get it sponsored for the channel. But hey, so obviously I've got my excavator, tractors, other pieces of equipment that require fuel. And you guys have seen me use gas cans for a lot of things. I do have my flog transfer tank that was one of the first renditions. What's up, Sergio? I need you. Big wire job. Sergio, where you going? Big wiring job. I need to connect a red and a black wire. Are you qualified?
I have that.
You probably have one. I probably could have just got it from you, but do you know what one that one's for? Let's see.
This one? Not sure. Could be Milwaukee?
Nope. We don't like them, remember?
Oh, the Hercules?
Yeah, which is also DeWalt.
Oh, I do. No.
You got the open side, I think. Open it up. Some more work than I wanted to do today.
No, you don't have to. Look. Tap it through the side.
So it's a little loud outside, and it's a little dark inside because we're in the back of the shop. The lighting's not that great. Obviously, you guys saw we just cracked it open a second ago. So this is the Vevor plastic transfer tank. No, you guys are saying that seems chintzy and cheap, and why would you want that? Well, number one, I've heard really good things about them. Number two, believe it or not, things like my tractor, actually in the owner's manual, say do not put fuel into the tractor that was stored in metal. They actually want it that is stored in a plastic tank. I don't know why, maybe rust, sediment, debris, don't know. And yes, I do have a flog transfer tank, but it was the first rendition of their dual fuel transfer tank, which is an awesome idea. 2 pumps, one side diesel, one side gas. However, there wasn't a separation between the two. I mean, there was a separation, but there wasn't like an air gap in between the two sidewalls. So mine, unfortunately, ended up leaking. The gas got into the diesel. There's really no way to fix it without pulling it completely apart, like cutting it apart and then re-welding it, and like that's kind of a pain in the butt. So I need to just make that thing full-time one fuel, right? Both sides are just gonna have to fill up with the same fuel, whatever that may be. But I don't want a dedicated transfer tank in the bed of the truck. I don't want it. Not for this truck. So instead, we are going with this. They do make these in 2 different sizes, 100 and something gallon. This, I believe, is a 58 gallon, which is really all I need. The cool thing about it though is I could have it at my ranch full of diesel, number one obviously to fill up the stuff at the ranch, but I can also throw it in the bed of the truck full of diesel, take it to the job sites, fill up the equipment there. It does have 2 fork pockets here. However, I don't want to risk damaging this by trying to get the forks in there. I just happened to be leaving the shop the other day and I found this little pallet, which without even seeing the size of that thing in person, I think that pallet's gonna be the perfect size to strap it to the wood pallet. Then number one, it keeps it up off the ground. But number two, when you're going in with the forks, you don't risk damaging the actual tank itself. Will damage the pallet. So I really don't know much about these other than the review said they work great. But it comes with the pump, the nozzle. Looks like we even got us a little filter. Interesting, we could probably swap that out to maybe a better filter. I have read that you're gonna wanna tighten everything down, every fitting on here, because these things will leak. Does it come with, I might have to go buy us a little bit of Teflon or fuel safe Teflon, because I don't think we have that here. But, we got O-rings. Maybe we should still Teflon it. Kind of smells like fuel. So, this thing has a fuel gauge on it, which again is cool. Like I said earlier, 58 gallons. That's a vent, feels like. Ugh. So we can crack that open. Any fuel in there? It smells oddly fishy. That's gross. And then we have these 2 leads to where you can connect it, you know, to your vehicle's 12-volt battery, but we don't want to do that. I want this to be a self-contained little system. Hence my little battery adapter that I showed you guys earlier. I want to run this off of a Harbor Freight battery. Now, the Harbor Freight batteries, they make a 12-volt and they make a 20-volt, which is really an 18-volt. This pump, however, runs on 12-volt. Can you run a 12-volt pump on 18 volts? Sure. Can you do it for a long period of time? Don't know. So Sergio was checking the instructions because sometimes they have a voltage range, like between 12 and 28 volts or whatever that something will run. I think it was no shock that the instructions here did not say what the voltage range of this pump was. However, we can run a step down converter. So that'll convert the 18 volts from the Hercules battery to 12 volts, which I think is the route we're gonna go. Now, the other thing I like about this thing is it is fully contained, right? So it's got a lid on it, which will cover when we put the battery in here or however we end up wiring this thing up. Everything will be nice and sealed from the elements, or I guess sealed enough. And it is locking, so how hard would it be to break that lock off? Well, not that hard, but it is there. It's a little bit more of an inconvenience for the criminals out there. But like I said, this thing's gonna essentially live at the ranch or go in and out of the truck as needed on the job sites. And because we have the instructions, let's just read them and see if it says we need to Teflon tape. There are no assembly instructions. So I'm guessing they don't think that you need any Teflon, because I feel like it would say that. Well, I lucked out, y'all. I went over to Sergio's because I cannot get to our Harbor Freight toolbox up there because Dedek's truck is currently pushed way forward. And I don't want to move 3 vehicles to get a wrench, and I would take you guys up there, but Dedek's truck, I don't know at what point this video is getting released, but it's probably further along than we've posted the content of, so I can't really spoil that yet. But while I was over there getting a crescent wrench, Sergio does have the fuel safe or fuel approved Teflon. He's got it in both the liquid and the tape. I think we're gonna just try the tape. I don't have good luck with things not leaking. As long as the pump's not on, anything I do after the fact isn't gonna constantly leak. So really only when the pump's running, and then again, I think we'll be okay. Hopefully we don't get too big of a leak. What do we got in there? What is that, like a 1/2 inch hole? It's a pretty hefty hose for, maybe it's just 1/2 inch on this fitting. Let's get a little Teflon put on. Actually, we should check this first. Now I know everybody says you gotta tighten everything. I don't really see how I can tighten this and it still be at the right angle to go back onto this bracket, but obviously we're loose on the bracket. We'll grab a little screwdriver, try to tighten that down. And you can see there's been a lot of transfer tank installs out of this shop, so we have a lot of spare parts. A lot of the ones that we've installed here, they don't use the standard handles that come with the GPI pumps. They go to the upgraded auto shutoff ones, which are nicer, but we do have a lot of hose lying around. However, they do give you what looks like, I'd say 10 feet of hose, which I think is pretty good. Is that about 10 feet? I would say. But all right, first things first, let's see if we can actually tighten. Oh yeah, that screw's just totally loose. There we go. This one, also totally loose. There we go, that's tight. Again, I don't really see how we can tighten the rest of this stuff without it being just in the wrong angle. We don't want this thing facing up. Very Chinese. Turn until gasker contacts base, then tighten 1/2 turn, check for leaks. Gilbarco, Greensboro, made in China. So this is an auto shutoff handle, which is kind of a must when you're doing this so you don't end up overflowing your stuff, which is cool that it comes with because it's like $100 and something upgrade. Because when you buy other like transfer tank pumps like the GPIs, again, they don't usually come with the nicer auto shutoff handles, so you got to spend another $100 something after you just spent $400, $500, $600 on pumps. Oh, we got is that a swivel? What is that? Is that a, it's not a swivel. I don't know what that is. Oh, check this out. They give you a cute little lock for this thing. They're definitely not going to be able to break that. But hey, at least it's like an out of the box, you know, everything you need, which is cool. Now I despise plumbing. Me and plumbing do not get along. I cannot do plumbing very well without it leaking. And unfortunately, this is plumbing. Thread piece number 1 in. Alright, thread her in. Just so annoying with this hose. Last thing we gotta do is put the handle on. So they've got a nice little cutout right there where the actual nozzle sits down in. However, you really gotta tighten these hoses up. I don't know if we're even gonna get it because this part wants to hit the hose. Or what am I hitting? Am I hitting the wiring? Take it out. Or is the hose supposed to come out of it? That's what it is. The hose can kind of stay out of it a little bit. We left you some holes. Yeah, that's much better. Definitely not sloppy looking. Hopefully this hose softens up a little bit over time. It's not super warm today, and this hose, it does not like to bend. I mean, you can see it really fighting right there to wrap it nicely. All we need to know is what's out of the way so we can mount our battery thing, which I'm guessing is probably just gonna be like right there. All right, so this is our voltage regulator, converter, step down, whatever you wanna call it. It's a max input of 24 volts, output 12 volt, 20 amp. This thing's kind of big, but Sergio likes them because they have a larger gauge wire.
Yes, the 10 amp has a smaller one, so I would prefer to use this one.
Hey, you got a crimp tool? Can't get to our toolbox, Sergio. Times are tough over there. All right, so now kind of figuring out our layout. I've just got a 5 amp hour Hercules battery. Seems like this actually clips in really well. Yeah, no, there's not really any slop in there. I have heard mixed reviews about the 3D printed little battery adapters. This one actually had the best reviews out of all the 3D printed versus the injection molded ones. And it was just the one that would get here quickest, so I ordered it. So as long as we got room to slide that on, and really we could go with a bigger battery if we need to, if we wanted to keep one in here, because we still have probably another 1.5 inches or so to the top side over here. But again, I highly doubt I'll leave, maybe I will leave a battery in here. I don't know. It's a good thing about the Harbor Freight Hercules batteries is they're affordable as opposed to all the other brands. So I could just leave one in here full time. Department of Transportation, United States of America. That right there, that is an official seal of approval, let me tell you. So we got our layout here. I think we'll put our little voltage regulator right there. That'll go right there. Hopefully there's like a double wall layer. I'm assuming they screwed in right there. Hopefully they didn't just thicken that part for their pump, and we can screw into here. And yeah, if it leaks, we'll just silicone. I've got the shortest screws I could find over at Sergio's, so hopefully they grab into the plastic well. No turning back now. That's a little longer than we need, right there. There we go. Get out of there. Getting the insulation peeled back. What do you guys think? Think that's full-blown asbestos? Or just partial asbestos in there? We're gonna go brown to yellow. Interesting combo there. So that is gonna go there. Again, I probably have way too much wire on here, but for research purposes and to make sure I don't set myself up in a situation where I can't expand if I need to, I grabbed the biggest Hercules battery that exists, their 12 amp hour, just to compare and see, as opposed to the 5 amp hour. Obviously, it might actually work height-wise being in the adapter, but I just wanna make sure, like width-wise, I don't set it up to where I can't click in a bigger battery because I put it again in that orientation or whatever orientation we put it in. Now I've only got one screw in the voltage regulator. I just wanted to get that so it stopped moving around. But before we screw any more screws into this thing, let's see if this works. Oh yeah. I don't want to run it too long without any fluid in it. Obviously it'll have to prime, so it's gonna run with no fluid in it for a second, but that's a success. So let's screw this all the way down. All right, we're all screwed in. There's one screw there, two there. I think that's plenty. We are good to go. Plenty of room to get the battery on and off now. And one more time. Oh yeah. Now this thing's not super heavy. It's probably like 80 pounds, just a little bit awkward, but we're gonna load it in the truck now. Probably should put it on the pallet. I don't know if I have any straps here. But next step, we gotta fill this up. It's just a little awkward. Not too bad. Ooh, but she is slidey. I should probably pick up a little carabiner or a little clip or something to close that. I mean, I guess it did come with a lock, but I have a feeling I'm gonna lose these keys. I couldn't even leave the lock unlocked. I gotta pull a key off to unlock it. But at least that'll keep the lid closed while I'm driving down the freeway because we don't want this thing popping open. I decided to set it on this pallet because this plastic is super slippery. It's just gonna slide all around the bed. Sitting on the pallet, not so much. And I was right about to complain about their lack of tie down points. However, I saw they left these little notches. This one's gonna be, I mean, it's not pointless but you have to go over here, but they do have little cutouts or notches. Let me see, will that actually close all the way? There we go. So you can run some straps through it, front and back. I would like to see something down here or outside somewhere. That way, like if we go through here, we're gonna have to constantly either unstrap this to use it, or we're gonna have to like feed the hose up underneath the strap, because the strap's gonna go right across here. And I don't think it's gonna let the lid close all the way because we're going over that groove. But for now, we're gonna call that done because I can only find one strap in the shop. So yeah, here's to hoping for the best. Okay, y'all, sun has gone down. We've made it to the fuel station here. Let's see, we were doing $4.79 a gallon. I know everybody's gonna freak out that I'm not at a station getting red dye. I'm paying too much. Out here, at least where I'm at, the little cost savings, if I was buying 1,000 gallons of it, sure. But at whatever this is, 58 gallons, it doesn't make sense to drive all the way across town to find a station that has red dye. It's just not that common out here. So I'm gonna eat a couple of bucks extra and we're gonna fill it up with some good old Chevron on-road diesel here. Surprisingly, our key didn't fall out. That's good. Let's crack that open. Now, I normally never prepay, but I don't want this thing to shut off on me a couple of times. I did some quick math in my head. I think it's gonna be about 300 bucks. Well, actually a little less than 300 bucks. 288? A little bit more than that, because I only did 479. This is 479.9, so 480. I don't know how much I trust this fuel gauge. It hasn't moved and we're at 10 gallons, which should be, what, less than a fifth of a tank, but it still should register. This fuel gauge hasn't. I probably should have checked all this before I fill this thing full of diesel. Oh. It's moving a little bit now. All right, we're at 40 gallons, $192. And our fuel gauge is almost full. Well, closer to full. Oh. Maybe this is 48 gallons. Oh yeah, this is every bit of 48 gallons. All right, I was wrong this whole time. This is a 48 gallon tank. There is, did I buy the 48 gallon? I know there's 100 something gallon. This thing definitely says 58 gallons. Right there. 58 gallon. We got 48 gallons. You ain't getting another 10. I can get maybe another half gallon in there, whatever this little area that's raised up is. I can get that. All right, let's just keep going. Let's keep going until full then. We're definitely not getting 58 gallons in here though. Yeah, that's getting a little close to full there to want to keep going. Look at that. We are past our full gauge. I gotta say, that's a little bit of a disappointment. So we got just shy of 52 gallons. So we are 6 gallons short, which, you know, back in the moving 5 gallon can days, that's one whole 5 gallon can. That's kind of a lot of fuel to tote out to the ranch. I hope this thing doesn't move. I don't know what that weight is. I don't know what fuel weighs, but water's about 8 pounds a gallon at, let's say 50 gallons. Is that 400 pounds? Right? Is my math 400 pounds? The pallet's pretty grippy though, so I don't think she's gonna go anywhere. 52 gallons. We're 6 gallons short. We're gonna send them a little email. Not that I can do anything about it. I've modified the thing already for one. And what am I gonna return it with 52 gallons of fuel in it? I mean, I guess I could put it in the truck, but that's beside the point. So we'll go back to the ranch and then come daylight in the morning, we'll get this thing unloaded because I don't want to do it at night and risk hitting my truck with the forks. All right, a new day is upon us. We're back at the ranch. We've got the tractor. Let's get our little fuel tank unloaded. Thankfully, it doesn't look like it leaked at all, so that's a good sign. Our strap's held up. That's where I set the fuel nozzle down at the fuel station, so don't mind that. But let's get her unloaded and try to not damage our truck bed. Because unlike a forklift or unlike a skid steer, when the forks are way out here on a tractor, they are not easy to see. You don't really have a good line of sight. Maybe at the bed height, we'll have a better line of sight. That is why I installed this camera right here. One of the 3 cameras that are on this tractor was so that I would have a good line of sight. And it just depends on what height the forks are at that you do, but we got camera number 2 right there and then camera number 3 right there. If you guys are new to the channel and have not seen it, we also have the big screen inside that I replaced the rearview mirror with because, well, who needs a rearview mirror? I mean, honestly, that thing kind of works as a rearview mirror if it was turned off. Hopefully the forks are set at the right width. I didn't really check that. But it's kind of one of the other reasons I wanted it on a pallet is because those fork pockets on the actual tank itself are really narrow. At least with that small pallet, we might be able to leave these forks kind of where I have them set. All right, so we can bring up our front fork camera there. Again, hopefully you guys can see that. We might have to narrow the forks up a little bit. Let's see. I'm gonna tilt them down just so I can get my eyes on the fork pockets on that pallet. It might go. It's gonna be a tight squeeze. All right, hopefully we can figure it out. I don't wanna go in too far and risk hitting my super expensive taillights. There we go. We are free. So I'm thinking for now, this thing's gonna live up in the carport. But before we go up there, let's grab a Harbor Freight Hercules battery from the shed project. And if you were a channel member, you know we got a little update on the shed project. We do have the door coming soon. I've ordered it. I still need to paint the door jamb black, but I have ordered it. It takes a couple of weeks to get here. So as soon as the door gets here, we can close out the shed project. All right, so we'll take our little 5 amp hour. This one's charged, fully charged. Where are we gonna fit this? All right, so hopefully that reaches. I'm gonna go from there to there, but we're gonna give her a shot here. Do our first fill up. Oh, well, she did leak a little bit in here. I'm assuming it came out of this vented lid. I did fill it up probably higher than I should have, and I have a bouncy dirt road that I live on. Is what it is. Let's snake this hose out. It might not be long enough. I might have to reposition the tractor a little bit. Nah, that'll work. Just barely. All right, let's get our battery on. Now again, we're gonna have to prime this pump. So we will just prime it into itself. All right, pump going on. Let's try to get this air out. There we go. All right, I think we are primed. Filling the tractor for the first time. That's a little bit of a weird angle, but are we flowing? Oh, we're flowing. So I believe this tractor holds about 20 gallons. Don't quote me on that. I believe that is what it holds. The excavator, which is down by the house, that thing only holds like 13 to 15. And that thing will run forever on that little amount of fuel. This thing eats up more fuel. Obviously, 74 horse engine, significantly larger. See how we're looking on our fuel. Yep, we're definitely sucking it down. Flowing out pretty quick. We've already burned a quarter. Probably put the lid back on there. Don't want no junk getting in there. Just really want to make sure this thing is auto shut off. I do have auto shut off handles. I'll show you guys my flog tank in a second. It's back up over here. See where we're at now. 3/4 of a tank. I don't feel like doing that math. All right, well, the auto shut off worked perfectly, so that's good. Jeez. All right. There we go. That was much easier. That would have took at least 4 5-gallon gas cans to do what we just did there. So I'll take that all day. Now coming back here, let's make sure there's no snakes. We've got, where is it? Oh. Now back up over here, this is my flog transfer tank. I mean, you can see how massive this thing is. It's awesome. It is 70 gallons of diesel, 30 gallons of gasoline, which was like ideal for what I wanted, because out here, you know, I've got my lawnmower's gasoline, a couple riding lawnmowers, the dump truck is gas. So I also wanted a way to bring out gas. You've got hose storage, real storage. I mean, this thing is unfortunately just kind of rotting away out here. I do need to get this thing fixed up, but dual tanks. And what I like about these, again, is you get the low pro GPI pumps. They sit below the rail of your truck, so you can run a tonneau cover. Your fifth wheel's not gonna interfere with. The only flaw is there's a divider wall that goes in between the diesel and the gas side. I think you can see it right there, actually. And there should have been an air gap in between. There should have been 2 walls, so that way if there ever was a leak from one side, they couldn't mix. It would take a leak on both sides to make some kind of weird mixture. This was their first generation. They have since figured that out. This is definitely a boneyard over here, though. This place is... yeah, I need to spend a day over here tidying everything back up. But now that I got a full tractor, I'm gonna go do a little tractor work around the property. It's probably gonna be more boring than this video may or may not have already been for you guys. I was just curious to try this thing out. I've been wanting to buy one of these for a long time. Again, not paid for or sponsored or anything like that by Vivor. I paid out of pocket for that thing. They're definitely on the pricier side at like $480 or $500 or whatever it is. But if you just want something easy, all in one, pumps there, everything's there. It's kind of the way to go. So as always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're not subscribed already, please click the subscribe button now. They do not miss out on any future content. Don't forget to give this video a like, a thumbs up. Don't forget to check out workforitapparel.com, because if there's anything you want in this life, you gotta be willing to work for it. You guys are the best. I'm out.
Damn. Yeah.